Hey everybody, I'm Heidi here at the Wayne County Public Library with another really cool science experiment that you can do from home with very limited supplies. Today we're going to be looking at how color explodes in milk. Now, all that you need to make this happen is maybe you have a pie pan at home, or maybe you have a dinner plate that has a little bit of an indentation. You're going to need this to be able to hold a little bit of liquid in the bottom of it. So you don't want a flat surface or else it'll run off. So I have this pie pan that's going to work great. You're also going to need to have milk. Doesn't matter what brand, it doesn't matter what percent, just some milk. You'll need some dish detergent, dish soap. It doesn't matter, again, what brand that you have. You'll need some food coloring. Now, this is the important part. You want the food coloring that's a liquid. Right now, you can buy the gel food coloring in a lot of places. You want those drops of liquid. Ideally, you want to have all 4 colors that come in the pack: red, yellow, green, and blue. Today, for my experiment with you, I don't have any blue, so we're going to roll with just 3 colors. If you don't have all 4 colors, it's perfectly fine. But the more colors you have, the neater it looks. And then the last thing that you're going to need is a cotton swab. And that's it. Here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, friends, so the very first thing that you're going to do is you probably want to do this in the kitchen, just in case you spill anything, make a mess. The very first thing you're going to want to do is take some of your milk and pour it into the bottom of your pan. You want enough that it just covers the bottom. You don't have to use very much at all. So just like that, the milk's going to sit just for a little bit. And the next thing that you want to do is you want to get your food coloring, and you're going to want to put a drop of food coloring kind of in the center, pretty close to the center. All right, so I have 3. Remember I said I didn't have any blue, but I have green, red, and yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and close to the center, I'm going to put 1 drop of food coloring, maybe 2 drops. I don't need any more than that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my green. It doesn't matter what order that you put it in. If I had all 4 colors, I would keep my red and my yellow kind of separated from each other, but because I don't have 4 colors, it doesn't really matter. All right, let's maybe put 1 more in there. For some reason that yellow doesn't spread very well for us to see. Okay, so I have food coloring in my milk, and now here comes kind of some magic. I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm going to just place it in the center and see what happens. Nothing's happening. Interesting. So let's make some predictions, because I have 1 more material. I have some dish soap. If I take, oops, knocking things over in the background. If I take my dish soap and if I put 1 drop of dish soap on the other end of the cotton swab, or Q-tip, whatever you call it. So on that clean end, I put 1 drop. Now, watch what happens if I place this side of the cotton swab back into the center of the color. Are you ready? Whoa. Isn't that crazy? The color explodes. Now, if I take this out, I can let it sit, and you can see exactly what happens to it. Let's watch that and come back. Wasn't that amazing? Did you love how those colors burst in all directions every time that you placed that cotton swab with the dish soap into the solution? Amazing. So here's why it works. So milk is made up mostly of water, but it also has vitamins and minerals and proteins, and it has some fat in it. Some fat is healthy, so when you get the different percentages of fat on your milk, you might get whole milk, you might get 2%, that's 2% reduced fat, or 1% or skim milk. Depending on which percentage of milk you have, it has a different fat content to it. So what happens is the molecules of the dish soap try to bind with the fat molecules in the milk. It's chemistry. There's a lot of complicated process involved in it, but that's the simple version. So what happens is when you see those color swirls, it's because you're seeing the molecules of the food coloring move around because of the soap trying to bind with the fat in the milk. The higher the fat content in your milk, the cooler and more amazing color bursts there are. You could try this if you had access to different percentages of fat in milk. Maybe you had some whole milk at home. Maybe your grandma has 2% at home. Maybe your neighbor has skim milk. You could get some different fat content milks and you could try the same experiment and notice how the colors burst with the different types of milk. You could also look at the patterns that are created. Do you see the same patterns between the types of milk? Maybe try some different dish soap. Does that impact it at all? There are so many things that you can see and do with just a couple of items at home. I can't wait to see you next time. If you try this at home, please take some videos or pictures, send them to us here at the library. We'd love to see what your patterns look like. Thanks, everybody.